Alright, so we've had several conversations about the beautiful deep mulch gardening method. And here's my big garden all put to bed. And what we do is get wood chips. I wanted to clarify what we mean by wood chips and what the gardening method for wood chips is about. So it's not bark dust. What you want is chips that are limbs and trees that are ground up from a tree service, and then you put that around as the base of your mulch gardening. So the reason you don't want bark dust and you want chips is these kinds of wood chips is because they have pine needles mixed in, leaves, grass cuttings, and wood. And we don't care really how big the pieces of wood are, as long as they're smaller. Well, some of these are getting kind of big, but as long as they're smaller than a grown man's thumb, and I'm not a grown man and I have small hands, so this is fine. These are flat, so I know that they're going to decompose fine. So if you see an arborist around in your area, hit them up. They're looking for places to drop chips and leaves. Sometimes they even bring you wood, like firewood, when they're taking down a number of trees, because they need to empty those trucks as soon as possible. Get back to doing their work. So there is a company online, at least in the Pacific Northwest, called Chip Drop. I'll link the web page below. And for free, you can get wood chips delivered to your house. Now, the caveat here, there's a few caveats. Number one is they need to be chipping up stuff in your area. So, you have to have a house close by. They're not going to drive 20 miles just to dump free chips in your yard just because you want them. So it needs to be near, and you do have the option of paying them a little bit of money. So we usually put down that we'll pay $20 for a load, and usually what happens is we pay $20, they bring us a load, and then they ask us if we can take more. We always say yes, and then they start bringing us chips for free. Now my neighbor just put down that she wanted chips but wasn't willing to pay any money because she just wanted them if they had extra, and she just got 2 loads last week. So if you're patient and you don't really mind where they show up, that's great. The other caveat is that they don't tell you when they're coming. They send you an email that says you're going to get a chip drop today or in the next few hours. Often we get the messages after they've come and gone. And if that's the case, you need to have a place that they can get to from the road easily and be able to dump and be gone without anybody being home. So we've got a pretty big circular driveway, and this is our fifth wheel and the back garden section here. We live in the country, and the sheep don't care, sheep across the way. So we just got this stuff delivered last week, and you can see this is like a redwood with cedar. This has got more needles in it, so it's more piney. And then this has cedar in it, and we're okay with cedar. Those old stories you got where cedar was really bad is a wives' tale, in my opinion. Cedar's just fine for the garden, unless you're allergic to it. So anyway, that's how you get free chips delivered to your house. And like I said, if you throw a little money their way, you're going to be put up higher on the list. And finally, you do have the option of saying, yeah, if you guys have firewood along with those chips, feel free to bring it to me. We've received firewood once, even though we didn't ask for it. It just showed up. Now, sometimes it's one big log that you have to buck yourself, and sometimes it's bucked into rounds. It just depends on the company and the size. And Sarah, she just kind of shows up if you need help. She's perfectly happy to be the forewoman on your job and check out your chips to make sure they're environment free. So anyway, there you go. Little quickie. Thanks, you guys. Later. We just finished up spreading all those chips out. But you know, if you don't want to use them in a garden, they sure do make a fine pathway to walk on. This is our pump house here, and here's my hoop house. I call it the greenhouse, but it's really a hoop house. Mason bee nest. All the little mason bees are tucked up in there. Da, da, da. And here's my simple pump, my hand pump. I'm going to do a video on that in a little while. Our well is 425 feet deep. Yes, you heard me, 425 feet. And guess what? A simple pump will pump water from that deep, which is almost unheard of. But you can see, look at this nice little pathway now. And we're going to continue it behind and then down where the fifth wheel is. But that is going to be a different day, because although Mr. Old School Prepper got to ride around on the tractor, I was spreading by hand with a rake. So I'm done. Stick a fork in me, I'm done. So anyway, wood chips. It's a good thing.